Hey everyone, Canadian Sergeant Steele here, and today I want to talk to you about the Voss-Pattern Lighting Fighter. So this is one of my absolute favorite aircrafts that they have made for the Astra Militarum, and I did not realize how much I loved it until I bought it, built it, fully painted it, sat it on a shelf, and then really took a hard look at it. I think the profile is very fierce, and it lends itself to being an aggressive aircraft that is intimidating to the opponents. And that's what it should be. It's a very fast moving fighter, whereas its counterpart, the Thunderbolt, is a very heavy, durable fighter aircraft. This one's more lightweight, maneuverable, and really gets in there for the battle. I'm going to turn it around here. You can kind of see that profile, and especially like from underneath. It's just very aggressive looking with that front landing fin there, and the way the missiles and the las cannons are lined up. Just very cool. So let's talk about this unit, which you can get in resin from Forge World, its stats, and some of the strategies and tactics around playing such a unit. Just a nice little piece of glitter on there. Just got back from an event where they had glitter on one of the tables. So anyhow, as always, we start out with the profile. It is movement 20 plus inches, so minimum 20-inch movement. It is toughness 9, 3 up armor save, 14 wounds, leadership 7, 0 OC like all aircraft are. So it's pretty tough, right? That T9 with 14 wounds and a 3 up save is no joke. So it can withstand a decent little punch. It's not the most durable thing in the Astra Militarum by far, but it's a little more durable than you think, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So now let's talk about its war gear. And we only have 3 pieces of war gear. First, it has Armored Hull, which all aircraft have as its melee weapon. 6 attacks, weapon skill 4, strength 8, no AP, 1 damage. So this is not taking out anything in melee combat when it gets into it, but it could do a wound or 2 to something that charges it. Maybe. Its weapons are the las cannons and the Hellstrike missile racks. So with the las cannons, they're 40-inch range, 1 shot each, but you have 2 of them. Ballistic skill 4, strength 12, minus 3 AP, d6 plus 1 damage. The Hellstrike missiles, now these kind of add a lot of flavor to the aircraft in general, whether it's Valkyries, Thunderbolts, Marauders, Lightnings, etc. Hellstrike missiles are where it's at. These are 48-inch range, 2 shots, because it's the missile rack. So you only have 1 of those, and so you get 2 shots out of this. So you get 2 las cannon shots total, 2 Hellstrike missile shots, ballistic skill 4, strength 10, also minus 3 AP, d6 damage. So a little bit less damage and a little bit less strength, same AP. But what this has is anti-fly 2 plus. That's very important because a lot of units in 10th edition 40K have fly. So this allows you to just automatically wound on 2 up on your wound roll. And that is very valuable. Something I really like about this. I mean, just think about it. Even transports, a lot of transports or general units like that have fly keyword. I played against a Tau army. Almost everything that wasn't their infantry had the fly keyword in this particular list I was up against. And so I was just guaranteed to wound everything if I hit them with the Hellstrike missiles, which is really beneficial and really scares your opponents. But let's talk about what makes this unit unique and special, and that is Agile Dogfighter. So this is its ability. Each time an attack targets this model, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So basically, the Lightning, for those of you who remember, has the old school aircraft keyword, where if you were not hovering and you were supersonic in the older editions, then you were always minus 1 to hit. That makes this aircraft much more resilient than its counterparts, the Thunderbolt, the Valkyrie, the Vulture, and so forth. This one is so much harder to hit. I mean, that's a whole pip on the die that you're taking away from your opponent when they're shooting at this unit, allowing it to kind of stick in the game a little bit longer. And it's something I really like about it. So how would I use this unit? First, right now, it's rather cheap in points. I normally don't talk about points, but it's one of the things that makes the Lightning special, because right now aircraft are very overpriced. This one is 130 points for 2 las cannons and 2 Hellstrike missiles. And that's not a lot of firepower for that many points. But with the -1 to be hit and its decent profile, right, with the toughness 9 and 14 wounds and 3 up save, that means this thing could actually stick around a decent bit. So what I typically do with this is I bring it on as a way to do literally strafing runs across the table against monsters and vehicles or fly keyword units, say like crisis suits or something like that. And what I will do is wait till turn 2 or 3, and I'll bring it in and use it for compounding fire with other units that are already on the table. So because of the long range, the 40-inch range of both sets of weapon on this, and the way that aircraft rules currently work with line of sight, you do true line of sight to and from the aircraft. But I'll bring it down. I'll get line of sight on something. I'll even try to position it when that 6 inches, when it comes in from strategic reserves, along the board edge, to where hopefully my opponent doesn't get covered. And then I'll hammer it with everything I got. And if I don't kill it with my on-the-ground units, I'll then come in with the lightning to get those last couple strikes and take the unit out. If my ground units are successful, thanks to the long range of the lightning, I can usually just reach out and touch anything else on the board that maybe I wasn't planning to try to kill that turn. But now I have an opportunity to deal some damage to it. This isn't reliable. You're not going to use the lightning to take out a unit. That's not its role. It's there to scare your opponent and to plink away a few wounds here and there on their tougher monsters and vehicles and their fly units especially. So this is going to excel at doing that, and is one of the reasons why I recommend it. You'll need to be careful if your opponent does have units that can fly and they have good melee weapons. You're going to want to keep this unit away from them. It doesn't with that 3-up save, your opponent's going to be able to plink away at it pretty well. Even things that do devastating wounds at toughness 9, or with only a 3-up save, well, devastating wounds get around that. So never mind. Devastating wounds are with only 14 wounds on this. It's something that I had come to deal with. Votan shooting at this with Volkite, masked Volkite, was really tough, and I had to learn that lesson the hard way. So you'll want to keep it positioned in a way that keeps it away from those flying charging units. Blood Angels will have some of those and so forth. You'll want to also try to keep it in a position where, if something doesn't have fly, it can't charge it, and things shooting at it may be deterred because it's that -1 to be hit. But you'll still want to try to keep it away from anything that could take it out in one shot. So the good thing is with its long range, you can position this really well on the board to not have to worry about that as much. The other thing you need to keep in mind is the movement of this. Now, minimum 20-inch move. We have much smaller tables now in 10th edition, unless you're playing on the old school 4x6 mats. With these new 5-foot by 44-inch mats, you have to really think about how you position this. It's got a decently long base with this oval base, so you'll need to make sure you have room to be able to fly it into position. Then you do your 90-degree rotation. And basically what I usually do is fly boxes around the table. And I'll fly in this kind of square pattern so that I can keep my lightning in the game and prevent it from needing to fly off the board because my opponent has screened out the ground area around it. Or say maybe I've accidentally done that as well. And so that's something good to keep in mind with its movement to keep it in play. One of the things I like to do, just to make this a little more deadly, I like to actually pair this one with my Thunderbolt. So then I have 2 fighter aircraft coming in. The Thunderbolt has autocannons, but other than that, it still has las cannons and Hellstrike missiles. So I'll bring that one in to complement this one, and I'll have an officer of the fleet right now. This is pre-10th edition Codex, so I'm hoping regimental attaché stick around. We'll see, though. I'll have the officer of the fleet give it +1 to hit against the particular target that the officer of the fleet can see. Then that'll make this even deadlier. So now it's hitting on 3s. Then you have a scout sentinel nearby. You're rerolling 1s against that same target because normally this is going to go after the big players on the table or the key units that maybe have the fly keyword. And so you're probably already going to be using scout sentinels to get reroll 1s against that unit. And now suddenly you have something with 2 las cannons and 2 Hellstrike missile shots, rerolling 1s, hitting on 3s. And hopefully if you position this well, there's no cover for your opponent either. And that can make this very deadly and very effective. At that point, you're just trying to avoid rolling 2s. And that's a really good thing. to feel as a guard player. And trust me, we'll roll way more twos than we anticipate ever doing. So that's generally how I like to run this unit. And I think it's a very simple, straightforward unit. You just bring it on the board to threaten those bigger models or those fly units, and it'll do pretty well against those, especially if you can buff it with an officer of the fleet or scout sentinels for reroll ones. Now, once the 10th edition codex drops, we don't know if this unit will be in Legends or if it'll still be available in the index anymore. We'll wait and see. If I don't update this video, then that means it probably went to Legends, and this is the best we have for this unit. But we'll wait and see. And I hope they keep this and the other units around. I think the Guard resin units from Forge World are just some of the best. Like, they did a really great job imagining this stuff up and bringing it to life and really creating a set of diverse, interesting units for us to play with. And don't get me wrong, the new plastic kits have been absolutely amazing. I'm very thrilled with them. But I really love the life that Forge World has brought to the Astra Militarum. And so I really hope we can kind of keep that in the game. And we'll wait and see what happens. I have a lot of Forge World in my guard collection currently. Crassus Armored Transports, Macariuses, Thunderbolts, Lightnings, Malcadors, and so forth. So I really do hope we get to keep that stuff around. But we'll see. I'm overly optimistic, as any Imperium player should be. I'm always hoping we're going to live and we stay in the game and we stay alive too, and that our characters don't get killed off. But it is Warhammer 40,000. This is a deadly universe, and not everything makes it. All right, so that's all I have for you today. If you've enjoyed this video and the other videos, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I know about half of you who watch my videos are only subscribed, so the other half of you, if you please could, I'd really appreciate it. Also, get down in the comments below and let me know what you think of the Lightning and some of the strategies and tactics you might employ with it. I'm sure only a few of us have these models when it comes to guard players. Let me know what you think of this really cool and aggressive looking unit that we can put on the battlefield. As always, have fun wargaming. And remember, Cadia stands.